News story I want to talk about. Now, of course, not necessarily a news story, but just to get back on the coronavirus thing, the last thing I will say, when we're looking at Donald Trump and all of the, just how fucking, he's an idiot, right? All of the things he says and he contradicts himself and it's laughable, right? And people come at Donald Trump now and they're coming at him because of how he's handling this pandemic and how he's handling this situation. I mean, this guy's been an asshole, right? Most of us, especially in our community, we didn't want to vote for Donald Trump. We didn't want him to be in office. So you guys voted him in there. Most of the populace of America voted for Donald Trump, and we kind of get what we pay. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious to know the general Donald Trump supporter who voted him in office. How do you feel about him now? Like, what's your natural inclination of how this guy has been performing? Because this is some buffoon shit, right? So I understand there's some things before all of this happened. I understand there's some things he's done to improve the economy in certain instances. But when I look at a president, when I look at a politician, I look at their list of things they've accomplished, the list of things they've been able to do. To me, if it doesn't affect my community directly, like if it doesn't directly affect my community, it's difficult for me to even give a fuck about it, man. When we look at the finances of black folks, when we look at the conditions of black folks, we've never really had a president come out and say, okay, I'm going to help black people. Right? And people say, well, no president's supposed to come out and help anyone in particular. Well, that's bullshit. Obama, the quote-unquote black president, helped Mexicans specifically, right? He got on TV and specifically said it was okay to gay people to get married. So he single-handedly positively affected both of their cultures, right? So when you say he couldn't have done that for us, that's bullshit. And Donald Trump, I mean, besides being a good businessman, he's a piece of shit and a racist too. You see what I'm saying? So when I look at, and again, this is the president, so I'm not going to listen to him talk now that something serious is going on and all of a sudden take everything he say as the gospel. I'm taking what he say with a grain of salt because I don't trust that motherfucker. Just like I don't trust any of the current politicians, in my opinion. I haven't seen one or met one. I haven't met many, but I haven't met one or seen one that I feel is just and kind of has a black agenda and thinks that they can do some things specifically for my community. A lot of them just seem like they be just running a running game. You see what I'm saying? So when I go to CNBC or Fox News or CNN and all these different news stations, and one news station may not like Trump, so they're talking about the coronavirus, but they're slanting everything towards a negative aspect towards him, like what he's not doing. The other news stations do the same shit, aiming at Democrats. I mean, it's just a game that everybody's playing. You feel me? So instead of like digging deep into that game and being a part of that mentally, if you want to see the country improve, or if there's things about the United States that you don't like, if there's things about your community that you don't like, get off your ass and try to help. Get off your ass and try to fix some of it. You feel me? That's what I recommend. Now, again, local politics, the school districts, everything around me, voting in those instances can produce change. Of course, you're still putting your hopes and your prayer into a politician that, to me, that's like AKA liar to a degree, right? It's almost like you have to fabricate and kind of lie and lead people on a little bit just to get to where you want to go. But that's the nature of politics. So, but even with that being the case, I think there is a place for us to be involved with politics locally, where we can get something out of it and see the benefits of operating in that manner. But you know, just looking at the whole political landscape, looking at how the COVID-19 epidemic, or pandemic rather, has been reported on, I'm still in a really big. I'm still confused, right? I'm still not sure who's telling me the truth. I'm still not sure what the real mission of all of this is. Like, why do you want all of us in the house, right? So that's how I'm thinking about all this shit when I see it. But again, family, it's important to watch the news. It's important to pay attention to what's going on with those things, not to be gullible and go by every word they say, but for me, it's almost like, okay, I want to know what my enemy's thinking about. I want to know how my enemies conducted themselves. What plans do my enemy have for me? See, so we got to look at all of this thing from like a third eye aspect, in my opinion, where we're looking at what's not being said. We're looking at what they're not doing, right? So you just got to be mindful of everything that you hear and you read so you don't become so gullible. Because I see people online, I'm not going to say no names, but I see people online that hear what happens on the news, they go right to Facebook and report it like it's the gospel. And like I said a little earlier, family, we don't know what's going on. That's why, like I said, if you want to cover up completely and wear a mask and gloves everywhere you go and live by that and be 6 feet away from everybody you see, fine. If you say, fuck wearing a mask, I'm going to operate how I want to operate out here, I don't believe none of this shit, I'm not going to knock that person either. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't know. So I think sometimes it's irresponsible for us to get on platforms and speak definitively about shit that we really don't know about. It's okay to say my opinion, right? It's okay to say my opinion. It's okay to say I'm not sure, right? All of these are phrases that can be healthy, especially when communicating with other people, right? All right, so